Today I want to talk about something that I think we all feel, but we don't always have the words for. It's this invisible force that kind of nudges our decisions, often without us even noticing. It's the invisible hand of fear, and it has a much bigger role in our lives than we think. Just think about it for a second. That tiny little pause before you raise your hand or before you send that email or make that call, it's this momentary hesitation. But what's really going on in that space? That's what we're going to dig into. See, the first thing to realize is that fear rarely shows up like a monster in a movie. It's not a big, loud, dramatic event. Nah, most of the time, it's just a quiet whisper. It's a subtle little pause that just kind of blends into the background of our day. Like, picture this. You're in a meeting and you have a really good idea. You know it's good, but for some reason, you just don't say it. And in that tiny moment of hesitation, the conversation moves on and the opportunity is just gone. Or maybe it's something bigger. An opportunity lands in your lap that you actually want. A new role, a really cool project, but you find yourself saying, I'll apply for it later, or I'll wait till things calm down. And this one, man, this is a big one. It's that feeling of knowing deep down that you're ready for more, that you've outgrown your current situation. But you stay anyway, because what you have is familiar, and what's next is uncertain. It's in these quiet little moments that fear does its best work. Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting and kind of sneaky. Our brains are incredibly clever. Fear almost never shows up and introduces itself. It doesn't say, hey, I'm your fear talking. Instead, it puts on this perfect disguise, the disguise of logic and reason. Do any of these sound familiar? I mean, come on. I just need a little more time. I'm not quite ready. They sound so smart, so responsible, right? These aren't lies. They're just fear's logical arguments. And they are so convincing because they feel completely sensible. And when we listen to those logical reasons over and over again, something profound starts to happen. Our choices stop being about moving toward something we want and start being about moving away from something we're afraid of. Our whole world starts to be shaped not by our dreams, but by what we're trying to avoid. So why? Why does our brain do this to us? You might think it's some kind of flaw, but it's not. Not at all. We have to understand that this fear response is a feature, not a bug. It's an ancient, hardwired protective system that's just trying to do its one and only job: keep you safe. Our brains evolved over thousands of years to constantly scan the environment for threats. But here's the thing. In our modern world, there aren't many saber-toothed tigers lurking around. So, what is that ancient system scanning for now? It's looking for social and emotional threats. To our brain, the fear of failing at a project or the fear of being rejected or judged by our peers, well, it treats those things with the same level of seriousness that it once reserved for actual physical danger. The risk of looking stupid in a meeting can trigger the same danger alarm as a predator in the tall grass. And this is the crucial part. When that ancient alarm system flags a modern social risk, what's the simplest, quickest, most surefire way to eliminate that risk 100%? Simple. Don't do the thing. Don't speak up. Don't hit send. Don't apply. Risk gone. From your brain's point of view, it's a perfect strategy. Problem solved. This all leads to a really important question. How do we tell the difference between fear holding us back and our intuition, our gut feeling, trying to steer us in the right direction? They can feel almost identical sometimes, but their purpose is totally different. Think of it like this. Fear restricts. It yells, stop, danger. It wants to slam every door shut. It's loud, it's frantic, and it's usually obsessed with the question, what if I fail? But intuition guides. It's quieter. It's a steady sense that says, maybe not this path, but what about that one over there? Intuition opens doors. Fear just wants to lock them all. So once we start to recognize the voice of fear, we can actually change our relationship with it. And it starts by changing the questions we ask ourselves in those moments of hesitation. This is a super practical tool you can start using like today. The default question, the one our fear brain loves, is always this one. It's totally focused on the potential negative outcome of taking action. It's basically a question designed to find all the reasons to just stop. But watch what happens when you just flip the question around. Ask yourself, what happens if I don't do this? Whoa, suddenly you're not just thinking about the risk of doing it, you are forced to look at the guaranteed cost of not doing it, the opportunity that will be missed,
the growth that won't happen, the potential for regret. It completely changes the calculation.
And here is the beautiful paradox in all of this. The very thing fear wants you to avoid, taking action, is the only thing that actually makes it weaker. When you take one small step, even a terrified one, the unknown becomes a little more known, and that familiarity starts to reduce the uncertainty. And as the uncertainty shrinks, so does the power of the fear.
So let's be really clear about the goal here. This is not about becoming fearless. That's not real, and it's probably not even helpful. Fear is a part of our survival kit. The real goal is just to get good at recognizing fear when it shows up in its clever little logical disguise, and then making a conscious choice instead of just automatically obeying its command to stop.
And in the end, that's what real courage, what real growth feels like. It's not a life where you never feel fear. It's a life where you feel the fear, you nod at it, you acknowledge it's there, and then you find a way to take that next step forward anyway.